Okay, so ito po yung example. Hindi naman po to masyadong matagal. So for example, sa isa pong lugar, nagkaroon ng framing session for research ideas ang teacher. And what she says is, class, we need to identify a research topic that the class can pursue without having to come to the school's lab. And the project should be doable in 4 to 6 months. So ito po yung sinasabi kong framing session. So doon pa lang sa statement ng teacher, it sets the purpose. Now, kailangan maka-identify tayo ng research topic and then the initial scope. So dapat daw yung research na ipe-perform ay doable sa kahit hindi kayo pumapasok sa lab. And then at the same time, dapat matapos nyo siya in 4 to 6 months. So doon pa lang po, napakahalaga po kung paano inilalatag ng teacher kung ano ba yung requirements for a research topic po. Kasi pag hindi nyo po ito kinwalify in as early as possible, baka po ang i-propose ng estudyante nyo ay pang bachelor's thesis na 2 years in the making, na alam nyo naman po na hindi pwedeng gawin. So, isave po natin sila from the unnecessary work by making sure na clear po ang pag-communicate natin ng purpose at ng scope ng ating research projects, lalo na po sa high school level. Okay, so for example po, sa scenario na to, ang klase po ay is in a province where majority of the population is engaged in agriculture. So ito po, I'm just qualifying the situation po kasi makikita nyo kung paano ba natin i-rank yung ideas. And when the teacher solicited for ideas, so say like on the second and third meeting, this is the collection of ideas that the students actually came up with. So for example, one of them proposed a project on robotics. Na napaka-general yung pagkakasabi, robotics. Yung second student naman, she said, oh yeah, I would like to perform plant research for plantitos and plantita. So medyo, ito specific po, kasi research about plants, and then, specific rin po yung demographic na target. She actually would like to perform research na relevant sa mga tao who are interested in planting vegetables like in their gardens or ornamental plants. The third one is I would like to perform a biodiversity research. So medyo broad pa rin yung pagkakasabi niya. Hindi niya alam kung saan niya ba gagawin, gaano kalawak yung survey na gagawin niya. The fourth one is modeling studies to identify candidates for COVID-19 treatment. So ito naman, it's fairly specific, no? So, okay, modeling studies, they already know how they would like to approach it. And then, the specific target area is COVID-19 treatment identification. So gusto nila mag-screen ng drug candidates. And then the fifth idea naman is to study local rainfall variability. So gaya ng sinabi kanina ni Marty. So now, kapag po, on the perspective of teacher, kapag po ganito ka-diverse yung topics na binibigay sa inyo, baka mapakamot kayo sa ulo. Paano ba tayo pipili? Paano natin pipiliin yung best idea? Kasi lahat magaganda di ba? Lahat sila are representing some of the topics that Marty mentioned earlier. But then again, context po. Sabi namin kanina, dun sa ideation process, dapat doable even if you don't come to the lab, and then it should be finished within 4 to 6 months. And then lastly, yun pong lugar ng mga estudyante, they live in a province where majority of the people are actually engaged in agriculture. So ito po, so yung gagawin ng teacher is ililista niya lahat ng idea. And then, pag nalista na po yung idea, hindi rin po kayo ora-oradang magpipick ng best idea dito. The next thing that you should ask your students to do is to perform background research. What would be the reason why these studies are to be pursued? And before nyo po sila i-send back home or i-assign na mag-perform ng background research, you should also define a set of ranking criteria. So for example po, pagdating po sa sinabi nating ranking criteria, posible pong, students, you proposed these topics, but then you have to perform background research in a span of 2 to 3 weeks, and you should answer these questions. So for the idea that you're proposing, are there available resources? Second is, what would be the impact of your research? Third, very important attribute is, would the research you're proposing be doable within 4 to 6 months? And your answers to these things should be based on background information. Hindi lang to, the students are not supposed to make this up. They should present to you answers based on literature search. And then yung fourth criteria naman po is, are there local experts that you can consult and collaborate with for you to be able to perform the research at a fairly good, reasonable quality. So ito po yung set of criteria that you have to set for your students, and then they should be able to give you the answers based on the research background information that they will carry, that they will be gathering. So after po nun, pag sa sunod pang-apat o pang-limang session nyo na, pag nakapag-research na yung mga estudyante nyo, that's when you'll gather the entire group. And this is actually a very fun exercise. What you have to do is you have to tabulate your sets of ideas against the different criteria. And then you should assign a scoring system. So for example, you should score an idea a 1 for a particular criterion if it scores low. 2 for a mid-level, and then 3 for if it's scoring high. So for example po, we're gonna try to answer this. So in terms of resources, so for example, nasa probinsya po yung mga bata, and one student suggested that they perform a research project on robotics, but then nasa probinsya kayo, mahirap bumili ng pyesa, so definitely mababa ang score nito when it comes to the availability of resources. Okay, plant research for plantitos and plantitas. So alam po ninyo na agricultural ang area ninyo. So alam niyo na yung mga iba't ibang halaman, madali lang hanapin or madaling patubuin kasi maraming mga magsasaka, maraming mga merong garden ang business. So ito, definitely mataas ang score niya sa resources kasi alam niyo makukuha niyo lang siya locally. Third idea is biodiversity survey. So alam niyo na nasa agricultural area kayo, so definitely yung vegetation ng inyong lugar ay mataas. So more likely, hindi nyo kailangan gumastos or hindi nyo kailangan mag-travel ng malayo. Nandun na yung mga resources na kailangan nyo. Pangatlo, modeling studies to identify candidates for COVID-19 treatment. So ito, kung computational study at medyo mahirap yung lugar at wala kayong access sa for example, sa software na medyo mahal po minsan yun, kung kailangan nyo bilhin, edi more likely mababa po yung score nito. And then, panglima, study local rainfall variability. So ito, siguro, kung kailangan nyo bilhin yung mga gadgets para gawin to, baka accessible sa ibang lugar, baka hindi accessible sa iba. So baka ito po hypothetical lang, no, baka mid-level ang score niya diyan. And so what we try to do is we work with the students or with the team to populate all these criteria. So for example, impact, robotics, mataas kasi in siya, it's a cutting edge area. Research for plantitos and plantita. Alam nyo na if you generate data, learnings, masashare nyo sa maraming tao na matututo ng tamang pagtatanim or pag-aalaga ng halaman, mataas ang impact niyan. Biodiversity survey, so posibleng mid lang kasi baka mamaya hindi nyo alam kung ano yung magiging impact nito, sino makikinabang sa data na ma-generate ninyo. Modeling of COVID-19 treatments, so ito mataas kasi we're in the middle of a pandemic. So baka ito pwedeng yung i-pursue. So mataas yung score niya dyan. Study of local rainfall variability. You know that it is of importance, but then again, baka hindi nyo rin alam kung sino ba yung mga directly impacted ng knowledge from this research. So baka medyo mababa yung score niya in comparison to the other ones. Now, the third criterion is actually time. So robotics, baka medyo kasi you have to assemble the robot and wait for your equipment or spare parts to come in. Baka challenging yung 4 to 6 months kasi yung delivery ng supplies, mabagal siya ngayon. So baka 2 lang yung score niya. Time for plant research for plantitos and plantitas. For example yan, meron mga halaman na pwedeng tumubo in a span of 2 to 3 months. So definitely doable siya within the 4 to 6 month research period. Biodiversity, definitely, it's the same thing because you're dealing with plants, hindi nyo na kailangang hanapin sa malalayang lugar yung mga halaman, di mataas rin yung score niya kasi alam nyo doable siya within the 4 to 6 month time frame. Modeling study, so again, depende sa access sa resources, baka kailangan nyo pang matuto ng basic coding to do this, so definitely kakain siya ng oras dun sa 6-month period na meron kayo. So yun, baka medyo moderate lang yung score niya. And then study of rainfall variability, ay paano kung in a given 4 months hindi umulan? So hindi nyo siya masyadong mag-gauge. So baka medyo mababa yung score niya doon. And then yung last criteria dito sa ating case study is expert partner. So robotics, kung nasa probinsya kayo at malayo kayo sa major universities, baka wala kayong masyadong malapitan, baka mahirap siya. So dito sa case na to, mababa yung score. Research for plantitos and plantitas. Since agricultural yung area nyo, more likely meron dyang agriculture expert. So baka pwede kayo makonsulta. Biodiversity, siguro a score of a 2, baka kasi halimbawa wala kayong mga biodiversity experts diyan. And then 1 for both the modeling study and the rainfall variability kasi yung mga meteorologists medyo mahirap silang hanapin kasi bihira yun sa atin sa Pilipinas. So kapag po na-score na, once you have already given a score, for each idea, considering all these set of criteria, what you have to do is you have to add up the score. And typically, the way we do this is multiplicative po yung score. So essentially, you'll multiply all the scores for all the 4 areas para po umangat talaga kung ano ba yung top ideas. Kasi kung yung i-add nyo lang yan, baka mababa yung score, hindi nyo medyo magkakalapit lang, baka hindi kayo makapag-decide. So for example, in this case, if you multiply the scores for resources, impact, time, experts, and partners, the first idea will score a 6, second an 81, third 36, a fourth a 6, and then the fifth is also a 6. So definitely po dito, say for example, kung sa klase po of 30, pwede kayo mag-form ng dalawang groups of 15 members, di ba po pwede nyo split? Yung isa, mag-work on plant research, on how to grow ornamental and vegetable plants within the backyard. And then yung second naman, they might be actually able to work on biodiversity research. So, ito po yung sinasabi namin sa inyo na yung sana po this part makes teachers realize that hindi po dapat ang burden lagi nasa inyo sa pag-iisip ng topic. Dapat po talaga yung estudyante yung nag-iisip ng topics dyan. Your main role is actually to steward and to facilitate for them to perform these activities para matutunan po talaga nila yung scientific method. So hindi po talaga kayo dapat yung mamroblema na walang topics yung estudyante ko. The reason why the students are being required right now to perform research is for them to be able to exercise these activities and for them to learn the necessary skill sets. And alam nyo po, pag natutunan ng ganito yung mga estudyante nyo, ang gagaling na niyan sa college, saka even kahit po hindi sila maging scientist, pag pinag-research sila ng mga teachers nila at o sa trabaho nila after college, ang gagaling na po nila. At kayo po sa high school level ang nagturo sa kanila niyan.